Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome back to Obas Trading Gist. Today, we are diving into a crucial and concerning discussion emerging from Arise News focusing on air safety in Nigeria. We have an intriguing report from the National Safety Investigation Bureau, the NSIB, which has raised serious allegations against an AP school pilot and cabin crew member. The report suggests incident of alcohol and drug use, specifically marijuana, during a critical flight operation where an aircraft reportedly overshot the runway in Port Harcourt. This isn't just about an isolated incident. It brings to light the stringent safety protocol in aviation and the grave implication when they are compromised. We'll hear directly from the individuals involved and dissect the fact. So sit back and take a watch.
Now, joining me is, to react to NSIB report which indicted Air Peace pilots and crew of alcohol and drug use when aircraft overshot the runway in Port Harcourt. Well, I have David Bernard, he's Air Peace co-pilot, and Madoneme Victory, Air Peace cabin crew. Thank you very much for joining us on News Night. Let me start with you, the co-pilot. I mean, give us your own account. I believe you've read NSIB report, and from all indication, you're aware of the results of this report. Give us an account of the events, that led to this test that was carried out on yourself and, of course, the Air Peace cabin crew member. Mr. Bernard?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is David.
Right, David Bernard, right?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, the incident happened on the 13th of July 2025. And we had a flight from Lagos to Port Harcourt, and coming into Port Harcourt, we were clear for the approach. And my captain, who was flying, I was the pilot monitoring that day. It was a good weather and good visibility, everything going well and smooth until 500 feet when the captain disconnected the autopilot to manually fly the plane for the approach. So as he disconnected the autopilot at 500 feet, he was becoming high on the approach. I advised him that, Commander, you are high for this approach. We should initiate a go-around. And he didn't listen to me. And on the PAPI, which is a precision approach path indicator, it's a light which is close to the runway that gives you information on how high or how low you are from the runway. And I was looking at him at what he was doing and also looking outside at the runway, and he was getting high on the approach. I told you, Commander, you are high, go around. He didn't listen to me. I said it again several times. He didn't listen to me. And he continued the approach. We crossed the runway at about 200 feet. That's the threshold. We came to land just after the middle of the runway, and he was so reluctant to use the reversers. That's the reverse thrust, which I had to, use the reverse thrust myself and manually bring the plane to a stop by myself.
Right, if I can come in here very quickly,
we ended
if you
up
can
on
hear
the
me. Open the port, please, so I can have a conversation with him. Now, you say that it looks like there were reasons why you were concerned that the pilot was not doing what he was expected to do, and you were concerned. You warned him a couple of times without any response, and you had to intervene. Why was there a reason for, why were you concerned that there was something amiss? What did you notice?
I noticed that the approach wasn't stable.
Right.
And he wasn't, so we have an indication inside the cockpit on our system that tells us if we are high or low. And then he wasn't following the ILS, which is an instrument landing system that we normally use. I can't hear myself again.
That was a deeply troubling account from David Bernard, the Airpeace co-pilot. He clearly outlined how a flight that began with good weather and visibility quickly turned critical. His description of the captain becoming high on the approach and repeatedly ignoring warnings to go around paints a stark picture of a compromised cockpit. The co-pilot's eventual necessity to take manual control and deploy reverse thrust himself highlights a breakdown in standard operating procedure and a potentially dangerous situation averted only by the co-pilot's vigilance. If these claims are accurate, it points to a serious breach of aviation safety and regulations and raises profound questions about the captain's fitness to fly. So, let us watch the second part of the video.
Okay, let me bring in Victoria. There's a crew member there who is said to have been, tested for marijuana. That marijuana traces were found in your test samples. Tell us also about that. And ordinarily, crew members, pilots, allowed to maybe take alcohol, marijuana, or any substance that could, bend their faculties, their reasoning ordinarily. Is that allowed at all, whether Airpeace or aviation generally? Just tell us what you know.
Okay, thank you for having me. My name is Victory Maduneme.
Right.
And to answer your question, a cabin crew in aviation thoroughly, nobody is supposed to take alcohol or any drug at all before coming for a flight. So going forward to the question you asked, on the 13th of July, after we had landed, which was the day of the incident, after we had landed and we had to wait for NSIB to come on board. Then they came, started their investigation, and 5 hours later, they asked us to come into a room for them to do a test. So we all went into the room, and our blood samples were taken, and our urine were also taken. So, and normally, when those kind of tests is done, immediately after a drug test and an alcohol test, you're supposed to get your result within few hours or few minutes, right? But this was not given to us that day. Then 2 weeks later, 10 days later, which was on the 23rd, if I'm mistaken, sorry, on the 6th, I was called by NCAA to come and pick up a letter. Then I went to NCAA in Lagos, and I opened the letter and I was in utter shock to see what was in my result actually. So I went to go and see the doctor, and the doctor said, I told the doctor that I'm very shocked to see this in my results, and it's not possible for me to have this in my system. So he asked me I should go back and come back in 7 days replying their letter. But I didn't wait for the 7 days. I had to respond, which is on the 7th. I sent most of the documents to you. So I replied the letter back to them on the 7th. And they didn't get back to me until on the dates. They got back to me on the 27th that I should come to the office. I went to the office and I was handed a letter, and the letter says I should do a reconfirmatory test, which I accepted to do. And they sent me to go and meet a Dr. Adetunji of Cooper Aerospace Clinic, which is the licensed clinic for this kind of test. Then when I went to go and meet the doctor, and he came to see me, then he asked me that marijuana usually stays in the system for 90 days. That if I had something like this, that he's advising me that I should go back, then come back later when I feel like everything has cleared from my system. And I was like, no. If I go back and come back later, it actually proves that, yes, I have this kind of thing in my system, that I want to do the test. Which the test was done to me, and everything came out negative. So, and there's a question I need to ask NSIB. If marijuana was found in my system, were they not supposed to tell this to my airline? And they're supposed to stop me from flying. Why? Because I'm a risk to the passengers on board, and my license would have been taken away from me. But no, they didn't inform them of this till after two months. This is like the second month, and it's just coming out, and they're spoiling the image of the airline. I sent a copy of my results to you. Everything is there. Everything was clear. If marijuana was supposed to stay in the system for 90 days, this thing was done within a month. I did my test within a month. You can check it. And nothing was found in my system. If NSIB have a smearing campaign against the airline, they should keep the innocent people away from this. If not for the kindness of my chairman, they would have sacked me and blacklisted me. And once that is done, no airline in the world, I repeat, no airline in the world will pick me, because now they've painted me as this person that has drug in her system. This is really very bad.
Okay, let me,
And in the next 72 hours, if NIB do not come and reiterate whatever they have said against me, then I think we should sue. This is really very bad.
Right.
This is pure defamation of character.
Okay.
Following that, we heard from Madudeme Victory, the Air Peace cabin crew member whose account introduced another layer of complexity. Her shock and the outright denial of drug use are evident, especially given her confirmatory test came back negative. The delay in receiving her initial test result, coupled with the doctors suggesting to wait 90 days for a retest, raises concern about the integrity and standard practice of the initial testing. Her argument is compelling. If she indeed had marijuana in her system as initially alleged by the NCAA letter, why wasn't she immediately grounded or her airline informed? Given the serious risks involved in aviation, this suggests either a flawed initial report or a deliberate attempt at tarnishing her reputation, as she strongly claims. So for my critical take on this Arise News report while discussing an event hypothetically set in July 2025, as indicated in the video clip, brings to the forefront real and critical issues within the aviation industry, especially here in Nigeria. The conflicting account from the Air Peace co-pilot and cabin crew member versus the NSIB's preliminary findings highlights a potential systematic problem, whether in flight operations, drug testing protocol, or communication. The co-pilot's testimony of a captain being high and disregarding safety warning is alarming. Such a scenario bypasses multiple layers of safety, including basic principle of crew resource management, CRM, where effective communication and intervention are paramount. It underscores the absolute necessity for pilots to be at their optimal best, free from any impairing substances or condition. Any negligence in this regard poses an existential threat to lives on board. On the other hand, the cabin crew members' experience with the drug test results is equally concerning. The delay in getting results, the doctor's advice that contradicts immediate retesting for clarification, and her subsequent negative retest cast a shadow of doubt over the NSIB's initial report. If an aviation professional career can be jeopardized by what appears to be questionable testing or reporting, it raises concern about due process and fair treatment within regulatory bodies. Her accusation of a smearing campaign is a serious one that demands thorough investigation to preserve the integrity of both the individual and the regulatory body. Ultimately, this situation calls for absolute transparency and accountability from all parties involved. Aviation safety is non-negotiable. Investigation must be meticulous, unbiased, and timely, with results communicated clearly and fairly. Any indication of substance abuse must be addressed swiftly and decisively, but equally any false accusation or procedural misstep must be corrected to protect innocent individuals and maintain public trust in air travel. These are serious allegations with far-reaching consequences for the individuals involved and the aviation industry as a whole. It underscores the constant need for vigilance and adherence to safety regulations at all levels. What are your thoughts on these unfolding stories? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obas Trending Gist for more in-depth analysis.